Hey, it is Bob here. Bob Saget's Here for You is the name of the podcast. You know that. If you don't, this is your first listen in. I'm not having a good hair day, but that's why if you're just getting this audio-wise, I'm a really happy guy. Sometimes my hair just looks like, I don't know what it looks like some cauliflower or some vegetable. That's how I see myself. My self-image is so good. But I'm doing this thing because I love it, and I have a guest today, Ravi Patel. He is an actor that you will know right away. He has a show that came out today on HBO Max called Pursuit of Happiness, and I highly recommend it. He is an incredibly talented guy. He's been in tons of movies, but he's just a really kind soul who chose this field of entertainment because it's his makeup. It's who he is. And he doesn't wear makeup. He does when he's working. A couple things I got to tell you. You want to do the normal thing here. You want to rate and review it, right? And subscribe or follow, however you're doing this. Rate, review, subscribe, and always say something nice when you review. I can't take the pressure. I wouldn't say anything mean about you. If you had a podcast, so just think of it that way, because I can't stand hate. It's just too painful, right? It's enough. It's enough for now. And I do want to know what you think of it. I love your honest opinions. I look at them on YouTube, on the YouTube page, which shows the Zoom version of this. And there's a phone number up there that you can call. And I call you guys sometimes, and I announce that on Instagram stories or on Twitter. I'll say, hey, I'll be calling you in 2 days, or I'll be calling you tomorrow. You call that phone number that's up there in the menu and leave a message and leave your name and your number. I'm even going to have people leave their emails so I can do a Zoom thing with them. So one of these podcasts will be visual as well. And I'll get to see some of you guys. Anyway, I just enjoy talking to you. So if there's stuff you want to talk about, leave a message. So right now, coming into my Zoom room, coming into my podcast right now is just a sweetheart of a guy, an incredibly talented Ravi Patel. I'm really happy that you're talking to me on the day of a giant premiere for you. It is. It's a giant. It's a huge thing. It's a
huge. No, dude, it's a big moment in my career for sure. And man, I'm such a big fan of yours, so I appreciate you.
But you and I got to play together a little bit on Grandfathered,
which was to this day one of my favorite days, probably on set of anything. Definitely best day set on Grandfathered. Well, it was multiple days, but. Oh my God, man, you are so fun to work with.
You are. You're a sweetheart. You're just the nicest.
I still remember you giving the AD so much shit. It just constant. I mean, you don't turn it off, and I love it. I was just dying laughing. Dying.
It hasn't always served me. Sometimes I spend so much time being on that I'm not focused enough to concentrate on what I should be doing.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is, do your work.
Well, it's funny. I used to be on all the time, and I probably still suffer from being on too frequently. And I think guys like us, we like being on because we're good at it. Is that a weird thing to say?
We're kind of born. We're born that way,
and it's part of our craft, right? Like being funny or entertaining. Like it's literally what we do. And I remember, I think for me, I started to change it actually once I got into entertainment, because I started to, I don't know, I kind of felt like I was getting so much attention, and oh God, I hope this doesn't sound like an insult to you, because I think you're amazing. And
no,
I'm relating to you. I'm trying to relate to you, but
I like to be insulted. It means you know me.
At the top, let's get right at no, but it's something that I struggle with. Because I enjoy doing it, but then sometimes I feel like it happens at the expense of the other people in the room in terms of attention. And so now I try. In fact, I gave my dad this talk because Meet the Patels, the documentary we made about our family.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish that sentence, then I got to ask about it.
It made my parents kind of semi-famous, and I kind of gave my dad a talk because he was so obsessed with talking about it and he out of pride. But I had to kind of tell him, like, hey, the more attention you get, the more you have to work on giving other people in the room attention. And I'm saying like because the more, I don't know, it becomes people want to make it about you when you're in the room. I think, it's different on set because it's like an acting thing, but like
right
at a dinner, I found myself taking up a lot of the space, and people would try to do that. So everyone was working towards that goal. So
I've gotten better at it as I've gotten older, but I'm so much older that I and that's why I love doing this and that's why I love acting. You have to listen. I mean, it's all listening, it's your work, but you do your craft and learn your stuff and figure out who your character is. But listening's,
it's important. Can I tell you the thing about you though, that impressed me most? And I've said this to you already is, look, I knew Bob Saget, the guy in Full House. I knew Bob Saget, the guy who hosted America's Funniest Home Videos. And then I got to meet you through John Stamos on set. And so my first thought of you is like, oh my God, that's fucking Bob Saget, the guy I've known my whole life. But my next impression was you're genuinely a sweet, like kind person. It's irrefutable.
It's Ravi,
one of
it's an act. I'm a prick. I'm such an evil bastard.
You're not though, man.
That's why this show's called Bob Saget's Here for You, but I fought to make it Bob Saget's Not Here for You because everybody's not here for you. So everyone's because everybody is so cynical now. Mm-hmm. And it's really weird. And it's generational, and I think people are so disillusioned by so much that I'll say to my daughters are millennials or my wife's a millennial. I don't know. She's older than them. That's a good thing. And Gen X and a lot of people. And I'm not an ageist, so I could talk to a 10-year-old and learn a lot. But a lot of people, you'll say, younger people, I'll say, have a good day. And they're like, no, you have a good day. It's like, why are you so angry?
You take that back.
Right? Or the worst is when you do a show, and you've done so many of them, when people come up to you and they go, I saw you last night. Mm-hmm. And it's like, where's the rest?
I've gotten them. I've gotten that. Oh, yeah, I've gotten that.
I get that a lot.
Oh, buddy, have you followed my career? I've gotten that a ton. But, yeah, people don't understand. If you're going to say that, you need to just tack on anything at all after that.
And you hated it?
Yeah, because otherwise that's the implication.
You've been doing this since you're young, right? Like you're 18, 17?
No, actually, funny enough.
Wikipedia says stuff like that. It's true if it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's got to be true. No, I was an investment banker after college. I never... at least consciously.
And you went to school in Charlottesville.
UNC Chapel Hill. I gotta check out this Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
I'm from. You know why you're confused? Because I'm from Charlotte, which is close. to there.
Oh, Charlotte.
Grew up in Charlotte, and then
I'm just so messed up with the zeitgeist of the world right now that you want to say Charlotte, but everything's so upsetting right now. You say Charlottesville, You say someone. The guy told me he's from Germany, and I said, "Where in Auschwitz?" I just go negative.
It's all trigger association.
It all triggers back everything bad.
Yeah. But no, man, I didn't know that I was going to ever get into entertainment. I got kind of discovered. Like I was out here after I left my job in finance. I was looking for something that I could enjoy. I thought I was going to get into journalism or sports, and
according to your Wikipedia, you got into snuff films.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I've just met the person who's writing my Wikipedia page.
Oh my God! You know what I did? I rewrote your Wikipedia page. Yeah. I feel so bad.
No, it's the greatest show.
You're a
of love.
snuff filmmaker from Charlottesville.
I'm gonna get on your fucking Wikipedia page right now. We'll see.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's really bad. For a while there, they said my parents were like other names.
I'm sure it's like so long because there's so much Bob Saget out there.
I don't know. Well, there's many sides of me. I'm an octagon of whatever. I always say I do 5 things, none of them well. But you were a stand-up comic for a long time.
Well, you do not look your age if Wikipedia is telling the truth.
I'm 64.
Wow, man, you're doing great.
I drink the blood of baby squirrels.
This is the longest. Blood of Baby Squirrels known to extend life. This is like a real substantial Wikipedia page, which is to be expected.
Oh yeah, and I'm trading upward because I didn't say bats.
That's right. Good. Yeah, it's a better animal.
But if you're drinking a bat's blood, forget it. Forget what's going on right now in the world. If you're drinking a bat's blood, are you? Right. Is it payback? Because they're bloodsuckers, those bastards.
You're right. That's actually one could consider that kind of a return.
But maybe that's how this whole thing started.
Yeah, this could just be a long.
I'm not COVID. By the way, I'm not mocking COVID right now.
No, but it still works if that was how it started, and you have it, and you're giving it back. It's the circle of like. It's actually there was a scene in Lion King that addressed all of this that they got cut out. The original
and drinking
circle
lion's
of life.
blood. That's what Tiger King did.
That is what he did, and look
where
how,
he is.
Yeah, look where he is. That guy shot right to the top.
Yeah, well, he deserved it. I mean, he's a showman. So let me just we're all over the place, but that's how I do this because this to me is a conversation.
Wasn't going to go any other way. Yeah,
you're right. But this is like if you and I had met up, we hadn't seen each other, and we were because this is what we're doing. And we would, hey, you want to get a beer? Or, oh, I don't drink. Oh, you want to get a mocktail? I know this great place on 3rd Street. Oh, we can't go there. You know, it's kind of out of control right now.
Yeah. Hold on. Are you the one who doesn't drink and only drinks mocktails?
No, I do. I still drink alcohol, but I try to not overuse so that I can, because I lost 10 pounds because I finally, once this year started, I hadn't actually gone to the bathroom. So I finally took a massive dump at the end of July. So I have 10 pounds is gone. I lost half my body.
It's a 10-pound poop. That must have felt great.
It was wonderful. It actually had a placenta. Just want to see how many people want to turn this off right now.
Yeah, no, the poop had little cute baby turds born.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With nuts for eyes and hold on, I got a gag. But
that's the circle of life again.
And I met you through my circle of life, who's Stamos, who's kind of my 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of guy.
Also a sweetheart.
He's such a good guy. People don't know it. And they don't see how he cares for people. And you saw on the set of Grandfather that how he treats people. Yes, you had Dan Fogelman, you had Danny Chun, people that are really great at what they do.
Yeah.
But John Stamos is a genuine kind of heroic, caring guy.
He's a sweet guy, and he, in a lot of ways, renewed my faith in the celebrity because, so many people that I've met that have been famous for like their whole lives have trouble connecting to strangers, and it might be because there's walls up. It's one of the reasons why I think you being so kind so immediately to me was so surprising.
I liked you immediately also, and I was familiar with your work, but you can tell what someone's character is most of the time. Sometimes,
but a lot of celebrities can't even get to that point of noticing that in someone else because of the conditioning I think that comes with celebrity, where you're getting so much attention, you're constantly being asked for favors. There's a lot of people around you that are being opportunistic for one reason or another, and I think it ends up creating some sort of block where you don't let people in as easily, or you're a lot of famous people I know just have their core crew, and everyone else outside of them, you think they're being an asshole, but that's not what it is. They're just, they're guarded because.
Well, I told you no eye contact, but.
Well, yeah, and I was like, I understand, yes, sir.
You
were joking.
You were in a movie that I loved, and I talked to you about it, The Long Shot. I actually loved this movie, and we had an interesting conversation, but I mean, with Charlize or with Seth Rogen, you didn't have any kind of. There's no star tripping with them at all, I would think.
No, it's.
And I don't
want. You mean
like
was I starstruck by them?
Well,
like, was
or did they? They're not off-putting people. They also are welcoming sweethearts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't become best friends with them, but I thought they were both super kind, and truthfully, like, I wasn't looking to be friends with them. I was really just beside myself that I got to work with them, and to see how people like that work, people who are real pros and the best at what they do. It's like that. They're both so good. And that to me was really what I loved most about meeting them. But yeah, they were plenty kind.
So you're first thing, what was Meet the Patels like, and how did you tell your parents to be in this damn thing?
It was a documentary that my sister and I made together like 10 years ago. We spent about 5.5, 6 years making it. And it was about this time in my life when I was hiding a white girlfriend from my parents. And
in like a closet?
Yeah, it was in a literal, she's still there.
So it was like Anne Frank or Jojo Rabbit. You just had her.
Yeah.
Was it an attic?
It was like, what's that movie? Home? I don't remember. House?
Why did you have to hide her from your parents? Because
the expectation was that I would always marry an Indian girl. And I was, I guess, scared to introduce her to them. Or more importantly, I would say I knew that once the introduction was made, it would be different than if, when Americans introduce, because there's this concept of dating in American culture, whereas in my culture, there isn't a concept of dating. If you introduce your parents to someone, it means that you're going to get married. And so, I don't know.
Is it still that way completely?
No, I mean, it's evolved quite a bit, but there's definitely parts of Indian American culture that do it quite a bit. I mean, there's a new show that just came out called Indian Matchmaking that is pretty much all about that.
I can't go on there. Do you have to be Indian?
Well, I think you exhibit a great deal of Indian qualities. You're loud, you're loving.
Well, it's a very family.
You're very family oriented, but I think your height would be really off-putting. You're way too tall to be one of us.
Well, Dove is tall, right?
Dev is tall.
Yeah, that's why we're not friends. He and I.
I don't consider,
I never said his name
him
right.
One of us.
I ran into. Why is that?
Why is he so tall? I don't know what the fuck.
So why don't you consider him one of us?
Because he's so tall. How dare he?
He's a hell of a good actor too.
He's a sweet guy. We got to become friends. I was filming something in India at the end of last year, back when we left our houses, and
what was that?
We got to hang out that I was shooting in India.
Yeah,
I was filming like two things at one time. I had a Netflix show that I co-created that I'm the male lead in for Netflix India specifically. It'll come out here, but
what's the name of it?
It's called Bog Beanie Bog. Bog is Hindi for run, and the main character's name is Beanie, is the female lead, so it means run, Beanie, run. It comes out on Netflix in September.
That's exciting.
Yeah, thanks, man. So while we were filming that, so that takes place in the stand-up comedy scene in India, which is exploding. It's kind of like the underground hip hop scene was here, where it's this, it's a platform for emerging voices that previously didn't have any sort of channel or way.
Is it political, or is it the same as here? Sometimes it's all personal. Sometimes people don't do religion, culture.
It's everything. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. And there's all sorts of different kinds of even languages or cultures that it alludes to, because there's so many subcultures in India. But it's exploding.
Is Russell Peters huge over there?
Yeah, one could argue that he's the one who inspired that moment. So stand-up comedy didn't even exist in India till a little bit, but there wasn't really any sort of stand-up comedy scene till like 12, 13 years ago. And now it's become such a big thing where, some new comedian will pop up and have a clip go viral and have millions of followers and a brand deal like overnight. It's insane. And so wanted to write a show that took place in that world. But then another thing, which is that I always have wanted to attempt stand-up. And I thought, what a cool experience it would be for me to try it in this place where it's going through this crazy moment and I could meet all the biggest comedians along the way. So I did that as a doc series, which I also filmed. So I was filming my show during the day, and then at night I was trying to pursue stand-up, and we turned that into a doc series, which hopefully will come out next year.
That's coming out next year. What's that called?
How to Tell a Joke in India.
That is one of the best titles I've ever heard in my life.
Shut up, really?
Really? And I can't shut up because it's we're doing.
Well, we haven't even sold that yet. Like I set that up, like Will Smith's company, they have this new fund. And so this was their first investment out of that fund. And then I put the whole thing together myself. Like I literally I funded a piece of it. I bought all the equipment and stuff, even the camera.
Is that the same thing you did with Meet the Patels? Is that what you did?
No, I mean,
Because
this was
you directed that, right? And you
so my
produced
sister
it.
and I, yeah. So Meet the Patels was entrepreneurial, but that was fully, yeah, I guess it was very similar. I mean, Meet the Patels, my sister and I made that thing together, but we got PBS to fund it out of the gate. They wrote our first check, and then, we raised more money. It was constantly like we were constantly fundraising while we were making this thing. And it was one of the most difficult experiences of my life, but it also was probably the best experience of my professional and personal
Because it
career.
teaches you everything.
Oh man, like
Everything.
it was film school for me for sure, because we had an amazing group of editors on it, but we also edited it ourselves at one point. And beyond that, it changed my life personally. Like my sister and I, who previously I always loved her, but I didn't necessarily like her. Now I would genuinely consider my best friend. I mean, we got to like this low point where we made each other cry. We sent each other to therapy. And out of that, now we truly like see each other and respect each other. That's because of that experience. And then the film is about my family. That's really what the story is about. And we got to experience the journey of this film that when we finished it, nobody wanted it. All the major festivals said no to it twice. And we eventually premiered at a smaller festival, and we just started winning award after award. And it built this crazy groundswell. And next thing you know, it's trending next to Making a Murderer on Netflix. And it's one of the biggest theater doc releases of the year. It was like such a ride, which, by the way, it happened while we were filming Grandfathered. So I would be in between takes and then run off and try to do press or, dealing with whatever.
I didn't even know that. And we were hanging out too, so I didn't even know that.
Well, I think by the time you did your episodes, it had already come out, but I was definitely in that moment in time for my career where for the first time I was getting, because that happened. And then I was also in Master of None. I just launched this new snack company, and all these things were happening.
You launched a snack company?
Yeah, I started.
You said snack.
Yeah. So I started a granola bar company with some actor friends called This Saves Lives. And it's like a granola bar, but for every bar we sell, we donate a meal packet to a child in need somewhere around the world.
Oh, God.
We have a bunch of celebrities.
You're such a good person.
No, you know what I am?
I'm depressed
thirsty, Bob.
No, they're thirsty and you're feeding them.
No, man. I mean, look, super
I'm going
fulfilling.
to praise you, but I've got to take a quick break from something I'm sure that helps people in need. So here comes a quick break. Watch this. You're going to love this break, Ravi. Ready?
Okay.
You said your sister and yourself got closer from Meet the Patels. Did you get closer with your parents as well?
Oh, we all got so much closer. I mean, what I was actually thinking about this last night, because I'm really obsessed with this football docuseries called Last Chance U, and the head coach was watching game tape of the football players to study, and I was like, oh, this is what making a film that's personal felt like for me. Was I got to watch my own game tape. I got to review, like for the first time, I got this kind of third party detachment from myself. And I got to see myself as a character with strengths and flaws and a beginning and a middle and end. And I got to see my family like that as well. And, on a personal level, it ends up being introspective because you can see some of the things that you probably didn't see about yourself before that you want to work on. And then with the people you love, you actually, in my case, it resulted in just a deep level of appreciation, which was it's been dramatically reinforced ever since then, because people have just been so complimentary of my sister and my parents in that movie. And, that's a big reason why, look, the first episode of the HBO Max show, Pursuit of Happiness,
which is out right. It just launched today.
August 27th.
Today.
Correct.
That's where we are. That's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now.
You could not have made this series without that one. That's correct.
Oh, no, without a doubt, 100%. And
this thing was made for CNN, Pursuit of Happiness.
It was originally came to CNN, and their whole thing.
I got something right.
Their whole thing was, hey, we just want you to make whatever show is authentic to you, as long as there's kind of international travel elements. And for me, it's like, oh, I'm not an expert in anything. I couldn't do like a food show or anything academic.
Ditto.
But the thing that I already knew that I know how to do is be myself on camera and experience something that is life-changing. And I love, I'm a sappy guy. I love talking about kind of life improvement stuff. I love trying every new thing that, I love going through experiences and then reflecting on how they can change me. And, so.
But this show is a positive show. And you made it Pursuit of Happiness, which was also a Will Smith movie about a remarkable guy.
Which, by the way, I did not want that title. I think it works now, but I hated it.
Was that just called Happiness, or was that Pursuit of Happiness?
No, it's the exact same title, except I think they put a Y in at the end of happy, so it's spelled weirdly.
Well, that's good as long as it's different. So, being an American and being your heritage from India,
yeah,
I assume you have many friends that are from India as well. Mm-hmm. Unless they disowned you because you married a white woman from the U.S.
Yeah.
Did you lose a lot of friends over that?
Yeah, I mean, I still lose them. They're kind enough to send emails, so I get these little unsubscribe emails every day from people that used to love me. Nice.
So you look forward to the unsubscribes because it's contact.
Yeah.
Now, we don't hear about India in this equation of the world right now. We do some, but we don't hear of a leader there like we do of all the other countries that have these oligarchs and these dictators and these evil people, and they want to get rid of them.
Well, India's getting hit really hard. It is.
Explain that to me.
Shocking. Well, I mean,
because I'm so distracted by all this other stuff.
So India, in a lot of ways, is an exaggerated version of this country, especially when it comes to a disparity in socioeconomics. So you have a first world country on top of a third world country in a lot of ways there. And so, especially in the cities, the minute there's a pandemic and there's a shutdown, two things happen. It's a really densely packed country, especially in the cities. So the pandemic hits people harder. The people that hit the most are the poor, just as it has happened everywhere.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, the financial, it's not like they have savings where they can afford to be out of business for a few weeks. So very quickly, you saw thousands of people literally walking back to their villages, because they couldn't afford to put food on the table for themselves in India any longer. And, you're just seeing what the good news is that country did a really good job of shutting down entirely because the government has, the government is, I guess, in a lot of ways more competent than ours when it came to the shutdown. But two, people listen to them because just the ticket, like one of my friends in India, I have a bunch of friends in India, especially now because of that thing I did at the end of last year. I was talking to my friends last week and she was like, look, a big reason why our shutdown works so well is because the little citation that they write you, if you're out in the public when you're not supposed to be, nobody can afford it. Just the fear of paying the citation was enough to make people safe.
Wow.
And so they got hit really hard, but at the same time, they're recovering way better than us. The economic recovery, though, is devastating and in many ways worse than ours.
And that's weird about our system because we are capable. And this is one of the things I actually like that the Democrats of Joe Biden mentioned, which was to use new alternatives for energy. I love the idea of pumping instead of sucking all the oil out of the earth and taking a gorgeous national park and drilling and, to work in a very high speed way of the Elon Musk mold of how you get new energy and how you don't have to drain all the blood out of the earth.
Oh, I think it's one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves right now. But really at the core, look, you're talking about, you love innovation. It's about progress and progressivism. And it's
inspiring to people. It would inspire them rather than sending them back into a clean coal mine.
No, it would, but you're speaking to the core conflict that is always at play in what I feel is a very backwards two-party system, which is literally one party is for what's called progressivism. The word progress is in there. And another party is for conservatism. Conserve is in there. So one party is against change, which I think is one of the most absurd things ever and doesn't actually reflect, I think, 90% of the people in that party. But that's their team and they have to do whatever their team says. And then you have this other party that's just fighting for, hey, innovation. We all evolve as people, as a society, our resources.
But then you get into the whole shit of it all. You're just knee deep in it, which is, okay, let's redo everything. Let's throw out the Constitution from some fringe people that are being heard because it's a free country. And then the other people are, I'm not wearing a mask because you're taking away my rights.
Well, because it becomes about tribalism instead of an honest dialogue.
And tribalism is a tribe, and it does take you to a mindset of a primitive. It does it, even though we're all part of a tribe. I'm part of a tribe.
We're all part of a tribe. It's actually,
but we're all part of the human race. That's what drives me insane.
Yeah, and I also look. The thing that I respect most about Republic, look, I'm from North Carolina. I have a ton of Republican friends. My neighbors, my wife's, I mean, my parents, like neighbors, literally next door, they're so close. They're the most loving people, and they're big Trump supporters. And one thing that I think a connection you make if you have a lot of Republican friends is most of these people are the kindest people I've ever met. They're the most loyal, loving, because loyalty is actually the core tenet of that party.
And faith is a big part of what they have.
Faith is all, I think, in that. Yeah, right. I think absolutely.
But there is more than one faith, and that's what we're kind of losing sight of also.
Well, that's the irony, is that in emphasizing loyalty over, let's say, your ability to delineate your individual circumstances from that of the greater group in your party, your inability to essentially delineate a morality that at times doesn't align with everyone else, instead, the philosophy is, this is our family. We're always loyal to the family. And it results in kind of a homogeny of morality that I think ends up hurting themselves in the long run. Sorry, I did not expect us to get into this.
No, it's been hard not to. I don't look at it as political. Yeah. I don't. I look at it as socially, not socialism, because that is sociological. Thank you. Anthropological. Totally.
I think we're going to look back and realize that, especially not just the pandemic, but Black Lives Matter specifically, is the moment where we're starting to see the turn, I think, from darkness to empowerment. And I'm like, I could not be more excited about the next 10 years of this country. Oh, yeah. I think it's happening.
And being taught how you treat other people and how you don't treat other people. Yeah. And it's because all of it was not long ago. Ravi, it's so recent. You can go back to slavery. You can go back to the fact, and I'm watching this Seth Rogen movie, The American Pickle, and my great-grandparents were killed in a small village that doesn't exist anymore by the Russian Cossacks who cut off the heads of the people that lived there. And my grandparents were lucky to flee as children and come to America through Ellis Island and get different names. I'm a Zagat, a Zogat, a Sage. I don't know. There's all different kinds of stuff. But, everybody, yeah, right? So they came here because of freedom and because it was a beautiful place. And now we're on a learning curve. What I wish we could forego is the deaths. That's what, and obviously the sickness, the illness, we're going to figure that out. There's going to be, in the right medical, appropriate scientific time, we'll have the vaccine. We will understand it. The disease will probably always exist, just like all of them all exist, but there'll be something that knows how to do it. They spent trillions. They've never tried to fix the disease as quickly. So test trials can only be so quick, but this has been a miraculous process, and it will happen. I want to hear it from medical professionals. I don't want to hear it from someone who doesn't know anything about anything and hears that, they have I don't want to get into it, but the things
I'm with you. I agree. That's going to happen.
I don't like to be lied to. And that's the other thing.
No, you
So,
don't like to be lied to, and you don't like to see people die while we're trying to figure this out.
and I don't like to see people die, of course, over the racial
over
injustice.
politics. Yeah, it's
all of it.
All of it's so fucking stupid.
All over the world. Then we're going to take a quick break, but then I have to talk to you about Pursuit of Happiness because I really, really want to because it's so optimistic. You have a show right now, and it's literally right now. And so did you shoot all 4 of them for CNN, and then HBO Max loved them and bought them to air and owned them?
Well, that's the narrative I'm choosing to believe. I mean, yes, I shot them for CNN. It was last year, right? I like to say it's a period piece from when we could do things like that, travel.
Right, and be near people and breathe.
Yeah, be near people, yeah. But then, the pandemic hit, and CNN was like, we can't really air. They're covering a lot right now,
right?
And luckily, HBO Max wanted the show, so I feel really lucky because I think some people's shows just went away. By the way, so
yeah.
I feel
you're also lucky that you had 4 episodes. Were you about to shoot more episodes? But
no,
then
4 was always the thing. So it was done, and it was already. We finished editing it at the end of last year, so it was ready to go. And
I just watched the trailer. It looks, it has what we need so badly is that Anthony Bourdain unifying quality with real conversations in it. And you go to 4 amazing places.
Yeah, we go to. So the way I figured out which episodes to do was, the premise of the show is every episode I travel with someone in my life and we tackle some big life question. And I figured if every episode was truly a life-changing journey for me, it would make a better show, but also it would be a show I want to keep making. Especially because I'm traveling with someone that's actually bringing me closer to some of my life instead of me traveling alone. And the way I figured out which questions to address in each episode was I just sat down and thought of what are the urgent life questions that I'm thinking about right now. So the first episode, I went to Mexico with my parents to one of the hottest retirement spots for expats. And I went there with my parents to discuss retirement and aging. That's one of the most pressing questions in my life because I'm on the other side of 40. I'm a new dad. It's made me realize just how the extent to which I obsess over my daughter has given me real perspective on how much my parents have probably been obsessed with me for my entire life. And I want to basically, I just want to give back to that feeling. And also because I'm on the other side of 40, I'm just starting to, everyone's mortality is becoming a little more apparent to me. And I basically, that episode started with the conversation I actually had in therapy, which was asking my therapist, I kind of wanted to ask the questions today that I might otherwise be asking in therapy after they've passed. How can I make the most of the time that we have left together? So that's where that episode came from. And then there was the next episode is in Japan with my wife. That's the marriage is fairly new. Obviously
she's rolling her eyes in it. You say stuff and she's she's adorable. I mean, you must have so much fun together.
Oh, it was incredible. And by the way, we needed that trip because we needed a break from all of it. And I think that experience for us, we went to a country where they just generally are doing the most innovative things in the world and everything.
It's amazing.
They especially do a great job in raising their kids. So my parents, my wife and I went there to do an episode that's about parenting and in a lot of ways over-parenting because she and I are kind of raised in different, she's much younger than me. So we had we had different parenting philosophies. Hers is more like, she's also a therapist and a pediatric sleep consultant. So she's already so in it and she reads every book because she's super type A to begin with. And I'm more of the just make sure they don't die. We don't need to do too much, make them be independent. And I don't read the books because I'm a dude. And so
you get Cliff Notes. I don't think they make them anymore.
I literally read the first 5-10 pages. I'm like, I got this.
Audiobooks on a treadmill.
But that's the way to do it. But yeah, that was a truly life-changing journey. And we also we had the time of our lives. And
you're so lucky to have her. You must feel that. I'm sure you've been through other relationships and this is you found someone that's so you look up to.
Someone. Yeah, I found someone, but I also feel like and this is even discussed in that episode. I think the true lesson of love is that love is, something that you create. It's not, you don't really know what love is till you've been through the darkness together, where you both would rather not be together during that time, or you both would rather not.
Yeah, you have to go through difficulty. It's like if people don't argue. I ask friends of mine, do you argue? And they go, hell yeah. Other friends of mine go, no, we never argue. But I always go, what, really?
Oh, I think dudes especially just aren't conditioned to talk about, in general, their emotions. But in the context of marriage,
but I'm a whiner.
Yeah, you are. You're a real softie. But yeah.
So
I think,
Japan. So being there with your wife. That's the second episode.
That was about marriage and parenting and overparenting. And then we went to Denmark with a friend of mine who's Muslim, and we went there because we found out that Denmark. See, I've only heard of Denmark being the happiest place in the world generally.
But
it turns out it's not the happiest place if you're an immigrant, specifically a refugee. And so there was an example of a story that was urgently American. It's one of the biggest questions we're dealing with right now in our country.
Yes.
So that was a fascinating journey. And then I went to South Korea with one of my best friends, a guy named Matt Polson, who, like me, has, workaholic tendencies, but also when he's not working goes really hard. And I'm the same way. Like, we're kind of work hard, play hard. And, I think in general, we live in a time where everyone's overwhelmed with all the possibilities and all the choices. We're overscheduled, and we're overstressed. And as a result, we're never really happy with what we have. And so I went on that journey with him to kind of talk about work-life balance in a place that's dealing with it on a very national level. South Korea, 50 plus years ago, was one of the poorest countries in the world. A dictator came in and basically did everything he could to get everyone working and increasing the GDP. It was very successful. South Korea is one of the most greatest comeback stories in the world, but the kind of dark side of it is incredibly high levels of depression and suicide. And they're coping with it in very interesting ways. Some of the things you'll see in that episode, they have this thing where they eat really spicy food to de-stress. We also went to this bridge that's near their Wall Street that is, they call it the suicide bridge. And the government has put up these messages, inspirational messages, to hopefully deter people from continuing the reason they got there. And beneath them, this is where it's like, where they're doing stuff that I don't think we would ever do in America, but it makes a lot of sense. There's pictures of delicious foods all along the bridge. And the idea is that it's supposed to evoke in you, I guess one, it probably makes you hungry, but two,
well, you're not going to get that in the afterlife.
You're not going to get that in the afterlife. Exactly. But also I think, and this is something I never really thought about, it's changed how I looked at food, because you realize that food is something that connects you to who you are, to your past. Now that I think about it, like if I saw Indian food, it connects me to my mother, to my culture, and all of that. I think
that happens when I drink breast milk. It connects me to my mom.
That's more of a literal example of what I was talking. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You've told me about this. You keep frozen breast milk from your mother.
Yes, she passed years ago, but I wanted to have a part of her.
Yeah, and you eat it as like a popsicle, which I think is cute.
Yeah, we make breast pops.
By the way, your breast nipple technique has never been better as a result.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, what about with your mom? When you make a joke and you do something, and you did that episode with them, do you joke with her, and does she just go, "Oh, Ravi, stop it"? I'm sorry, I'm doing my mother's voice. My mother's voice would be, "Oh, say, Mom, I have your breast milk in the freezer because I want to go back to when I was a year old." It brings, "Oh, Bobby, please stop it, and don't tell people that."
Well, this is something.
Do you have that same relationship? Is it a comedic relationship, or is it pretty serious?
No, I have a very comedic relationship with both of my parents.
Because you have a funny spirit. You're a funny person. It's a joyous, loving, funny spirit.
Back at you, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, I get that from my parents. I mean,
that's what I'm asking.
I do think that one of my greatest joys is my mother's laugh, and I love making her laugh. Yes, sometimes I'll say things that are dirty, especially now in adulthood, where
there's kind of no more bullshit of like, you're definitely not in charge anymore. If anything, I think I'm starting to be in charge of you.
Yeah.
So like, like she found weed at my house, and like in the past it would have been like, and I just started laughing and she's like, what is that? I was like, oh, it's weed. And she's like, who? I was like, it's mine. She's like, you do this? I was like, oh yeah, it's great. She was so pissed. She was like, Raja, no. And then it's so funny though, because she just put it back in the drawer. It hasn't come up since. That's the hilarious part of it.
Did you want her to try it? I wanted my dad to smoke years ago, and he wouldn't do it.
In the Mexico episode, my dad, we're talking. I was like, hey, is there anything on your bucket list? And he goes, I think I want to smoke weed. So that's in that episode.
Does he smoke?
No. But if we get a second season, I promise you he will. It's 100% something I'm going to do with him. But yeah, I like making my mom laugh, and I like even kind of grossing her out sometimes. But no, we have nothing but a joyous. I mean, look, we have all annoying shit too, just like everyone does in family. But for the most part, we all laugh a lot.
A lot of people take this reality show mentality that in some ways has, bastardized the form and hurt television. And, let's go check in with people that are going to argue. They have a body mic on. The producers tell them, you're going to find out something right now. It's going to upset you. Just let it happen. That's their pre-production for a family. But you've taken it into such a positive. It is gross. It is. Yeah. We all know what it is. We all know where it came from. And we all know that it's, documentaries were part of the original framework of what television was when it started. So it was like Playhouse 90, which is your dramas. And so was your show of shows, which was Saturday Night Live. And, and the news, which used to be the news. It used to be one source that gave you all the sides. But with so much, we didn't, when I was young, we didn't have the internet. My video show where hit people in the nuts, there was nowhere else to see that. There was no YouTube,
I'm sure you've been offered a million reality shows, and at the end of the day, what it is it's like, we're going to pay you to be embarrassed and exploited, and that
give up your life. I can't give up my life.
That's the difference between reality TV and documentaries. But I would also say this, because I think about this. My wife and I had a debate on this recently. I also think people who do the reality TV thing, I actually think if they were able to do it in a way where they understand it's fake and they understand that the people who are watching it, that their opinion doesn't matter, that really nobody's opinion matters unless it's
I think some people do. I think there is.
Who gives a shit? And then for them, it's like, I guess that's a great way to make a paycheck. It's better than working the drive-through at McDonald's.
I think the Kardashians look at it that way. I actually do. I mean, and their life has changed and blown up because of it. Yeah. And it's done good and bad things for them, but it made them wealthy. It made them definitely, when you look at this decade, they're in it. They're all over it. But I mean, what you've been able to do, I did a show for A&E called Strange Days. We did 6 episodes that aired, and it didn't do well, so they started running them all off all at the same time. It was like, no.
That's a good feeling when that happens.
It took a year to do 6 episodes. And the first one never aired. We went to Ukraine, and we took guys to meet wives with a company called Anastasia, and we filmed it. And I was in Odessa. So after I left, after we did the episode, a bunch of people got really bad pneumonia and passed on. And then there was a whole bunch of terrible stuff happened with Russians attacking and, all the stuff that was going on there. So that never aired because I think it was too weird for A&E to run it. But I tried to do it.
That sounds awesome. What was the premise of the show?
It was studying different lifestyles and subcultures. I went to camp with a bunch of 14.
It's very similar to what I did.
It has similarities. And I went to I did a lot of stuff. The one that was the first episode, I joined a biker club called Iron Order, and I was in a sidecar. They called me Sidecar, and I joined the club. I have the jacket in my closet, vest, and it can never touch the ground. I take it seriously. I am a member, and I rode in a sidecar at 80 miles an hour with no seatbelt, and I trusted these guys, and some of them are no longer with us. But
was that a good experience?
It was amazing. I loved it because I went to documentary film school. I went to Temple University. I made a film about my nephew having his face reconstructed, and I won the student Oscar when I was 21. So
that's amazing.
my roots are documentary. So I called the series Cockumentary because it's comedy and documentary. So
well, it's a little misleading. I can see why that. Did you struggle then being? By the way, I want you to send me whatever it is that you won that award with. That's awesome.
It's pretty interesting.
Did you struggle? One thing that I struggle with in making this show, and just in general with this stuff, I want everything to be fairly spontaneous and super real. And on a very practical level, you're so often not able to do that, which is really dictated by how much time you have. And most of the people that make these shows are increasingly of the belief that you have to plan everything. And so it was really hard for me to plan the fuck out of things and also make it genuine and spontaneous and real. It's something that I got better at through making the show. And I think certainly if we get a second season, we'll get even better at it. But it was hard for me creatively. We butt heads a lot. Did you go through that?
I did. And it was like, he's going to come out of this doorway. Let's not cue him. Just wait for him to come out of the doorway. Yeah, yes. But the camera's not ready. And we've got to, it doesn't matter. Where's the camera? Hold it. Turn it on. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We got 7 minutes. Just roll it. It's going to be on a hard drive. It's not film. Just roll.
But they hated that, didn't they?
No, because I had a great producer. I had a guy named Troy Sear, and he really knew what to do. And they're documentary makers, and they did a great job. But that's what I love about what you're doing is you're also doing something that is so desperately needed in pursuit of happiness. And you did it in your other doc as well, but it's showing the positives and trying to wake up in the morning and not be depressed. To wake up in the morning with a positive approach, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this rut that humanity is in.
Thanks, man. I mean, it wasn't really intentional. I think it's just.
But that's who you are.
I think that's just what I'm like. And again, that's one where I get that part from my dad. I mean, I probably get most of my
mine too. My dad. From your dad. I get it from your dad.
From my dad.
He told me he wants to smoke weed.
My dad is one of the most optimistic people I've ever met.
So what else can we tell people about The Pursuit of Happiness, which they can see right now? All 4 episodes are up, right? Aren't they all up?
They're all up on HBO Max. I don't know, man. It was just a really fun journey. I don't feel like we need to talk about it a bunch.
Have you been getting, because you've been working nonstop. You're in a lot of movies. You've been in a lot of movies.
Yeah, but I've never broke this. This would be a new moment in my career. I very quickly in my career got to a point where I was doing a pilot or two literally every year, but I never really got past that point. Grandfathered, which only went 1 season, is the longest I've been a regular on a series ever. And I've probably done, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 pilots since I started acting.
Right.
14, 15 years ago.
That show should have gone longer. That show was.
Yeah, it should have gone longer. But I say that to mean like I've never really had, that I've never been in a place where I feel comfortable. And so on a career level, man, I'm just tired. I hope that this works out just so I can feel a little safe financially. I mean, I think we're gonna move out of LA to help ease that stress. And also to be closer to my parents, which is a real outcome from that Mexico trip, by the way, was that we wanted to live closer to them. But another thing about it that's really great is I want to reduce my cost of living forever by, what'll be like 50% if we live somewhere else.
But you're also a guy that I think will always work. And I think you're probably going to be getting a lot of offers as we come out of this time, out of once we're able to work safely.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like I've seen so many people get super hot, and I've seen those same people get super cold. And so I feel like I think spiritually my relationship with this career has evolved to one where I try to set very realistic expectations of what I'm getting from it, because I think you'd have a tough time being happy if you were looking for something that was fair or predictable.
Right.
And And
That's the problem. That's the problem with everyone that's in the field. They are living for that phone call or for that. I never said the words, I booked that. I've never said, I booked that show. I don't know why. I just, that's not in my vernacular. It's like.
Why? Because you don't want to jinx it?
No, I just never said those words. It seems like.
Because you were
It
offer
seems
only?
like it's a job. It seems like it's.
Did you hear what I said?
Because I was awful?
Because you were offer only?
Oh, that's happened a few times, but not in the places I like it.
You've been
to.
offered a ton of shit. You were one of the most famous people in the country for a long time. That must have been insane.
Well, I don't like the were, so I've got to bring that back,
You want to be as famous as you were during Full
I want to
House?
get what I want to get done. So if I want to direct a movie, I want to be able to pick the phone up and get the movie made because I'm passionate. Or if I want to part in something, or I've had.
That's really the fun part of fame.
And it's not even fame; it's just you're good, so people want to work with you. That's
I don't think that.
Now you're saying it's heat and what's fashionable, but when you
think heat is a very big part of it. I mean,
but certain people are just gifted and just great. So there's not like heat on. Look at Seth or Charlize, or look at Brad Pitt, or I'm just saying I don't see certain people falling out of. It's not because they're connected or who they're with or because they're hot at the moment. Yes, biggest movie stars' film careers, biggest TV stars' careers have an 8-year run. Then they get another, a couple years go by, and then they get another few-year run or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a cream rising to the top career. I think it's you can be amazing at playing poker. You're still playing poker. There's still a great percentage of it that is out of your control. The hands you deal, the hand you get dealt. Like, I just think entertainment. I think the more successful you are, the more equity you can get for sure.
Right.
Like, I think, for example, this show coming out should hopefully raise my floor a little more.
Well, it
should
does.
at least extend my runway.
Well, not only that, it gives you personal stripes. It's like I've done 3 Broadway experiences, and it gives you stripes.
So
like people don't know. Oh, you did that play? I did. I don't know what that is. Because they don't know. But for me, it's almost my proudest moment that I was able to come in and be front and center on a Broadway show that was beautiful.
Can I ask you? Having been in this business for so long, knowing what you know about,
I'm in it since the silent films. People like me better when they couldn't hear me.
It's on your Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I just updated it to go back to 1840.
Are the longest living actor alive?
Yeah, I'm not even a person anymore. I'm kind of I think they call me a marsupial.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, I don't know if you know what Dr. Manhattan is. Watchmen. Is
of course.
A great show. Yeah, you're Dr. Manhattan. They actually originally, in the original script, Dr. Manhattan in the parenthetical was described as a Bob Saget type. And, but then they, I don't know, I guess they didn't feel like it was plausible. They wanted, let's be honest, they wanted someone who wasn't white in the role, which I thought was really admirable of them.
I get that a lot, which is a real compliment.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't get to finish my question. Hold on. I didn't get to finish my question. What you know now, specifically when it comes to acting and the career of acting and fame, you could get in a time machine and go talk to the 18-year-old version of yourself. What would be the thing that you wish you could know then?
Try not to be an asshole. Because when I was 18, I had all of this forward impetus to think I was going to be the best filmmaker of all time. Mm-hmm. And the jury's out on me. I still am allowed to go direct movies until I'm an older man. So that's the good news. But when I was 30 and I had 2 shows on television in the top 10 for years, that I look at some 30-year-olds, I go, why is that guy or why is he or she so smug? And I go, well, what were you like, Bob, at 30 with a number 1 show of video of people getting hit in the nuts and a number 4 or 7 of a family, 2 family shows. And did it go to your head? Well, yeah, because of how people were responding to me. besides the hate, why are you so goofy or whatever, or I hate your jokes. I said, it's 7:00 on a Sunday. What can I do? But basically I was always a good person, but
How did you figure out that you had that problem, and when did you decide to change it?
I guess it was right when I hit 40, around when I hit 40. And then at 42, I was a divorced man, raising 3 girls. Sounds a little bit like a sitcom I did. And fortunately had a good ex-wife, and then started to kind of figure out what I wanted to do more, did more directing, and I've had a very weird career. And stand-up comedy is something that is part of my soul, so I can't wait to be able to do that again.
Yeah, that must be wild.
I'm comfortable with where I'm at, and I'm really happy. I have a wonderful wife, and I have 3 great daughters, and so those are the priorities. And I think that. That's what you're.
I do know that. What's the one thing that's left for you?
I guess a man-on-man relationship,
right?
Or maybe me with a really old man. How old's your dad?
Well, that problem with that is it's tough to find a man as old as you are, given that you worked in silent films. But I was with you. I was ready.
How old's your dad?
My dad is, I should know this, but I think he's 77.
Is there some kind of barbecue you could hook up where I could hang out with him? My wife's out of town the rest of the week.
He would love to meet you.
I would have a great time with your dad. I already know that. And I'm not talking stupid physical stuff.
You're a solid 4 feet taller than him. I would love that visual.
Is there any way your mom could play chicken on his shoulders, and then we could be the same height?
They'd have to like the 7 dwarves. They would. I read this to my
like
daughter.
a totem pole people.
Yeah, they sit on. Yeah, that's what they would have to do to have a conversation with you.
I'm insanely tall.
100% will host a barbecue. Mom will make Indian food, and
I love Indian food. Seriously,
well, you're in luck.
One of my favorite
loves
things.
Cooking it. We'll have you over, man. I'm serious. We're moving. We're leaving LA at the end of this year. Well, we're leaving 3 or 4 months in November, and we might not come back.
And where are you going?
We're looking at Nashville and Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
They're both great places. Well, enjoy. Have a good night. Smoke pot with your baby and your parents.
Back at you, man.
And congrats on Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, and let's stay friends.
We're gonna see each other. There's no question. So
good man. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right. I'll text you all night.
I know you will. Love you, buddy. Take care. All right, see you.
Thanks, Ravi.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Ravi Patel. And I'm saying that because I'm assuming that you're still listening or watching this. I hope he's having a great night. I hope he can get his dad high. He's got a cute baby. I had nothing to do with it. I'm not the dad. He's the father. Sorry, Ravi. I don't know. This is my problem. This is how I'm made. Watch the show, Pursuit of Happiness, HBO Max, right this moment. Came out today. And thank you guys. Do what you do. Rate, review, subscribe, call the number, leave a message, all that stuff so I can talk to you. So I can give you a call or catch you online in a Zoom room. We're going to be doing that. Take care of yourselves and take care of people you care about. Even take care of people you don't care about if they're not, not bastards. They're not assholes. I mean, we got to take care of people are assholes for a reason because they got a lot of poop in their life. I didn't want to say shit because I don't want to get some 13-year-old listening to this, give them bad influence. So look at my specials. That'll really fuck you up. Anyway, sending you guys a lot of good thoughts. Be well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time.